Welcome to another episode of Breadcrumbs from the Soul, a radio station dedicated to finding those hidden miracles in life's everyday circumstances. And as you know, for those of you who have just joined back again, I'm going to start this week's episode, which is entitled Uncover the Joy That's Beneath the Holiday Season Rush. And this is an episode that I need to hear and practice. So we're going to use a quote to begin with, and then after the quote, I'm going to apply the wisdom of the quote to an everyday circumstance of preparing our households for the holiday season and the rush that ensues, no matter how much planning we do. I know I can speak for myself. And we're going to then apply 3 tools, so 3 steps of things that we can do to help ourselves better cope and find the joy that is hidden beneath. I am Reverend Michelle Rado, and I'm so glad to have you back again. If you're joining me on YouTube, please take a moment, if you have not already done so. I'm going to put a link right about here for you to go ahead and click, and so that you can subscribe to the YouTube station. And with that, I'm going to say, let's just go ahead and jump in and get started, shall we? So the quote that I'm using this week is a quote from a card deck, actually, by Louise Hay, published by Hay House, and it's her 64 card deck of wisdom cards, and I selected it. This particular card says, "My motto this year is I go for the joy, and life is here for me to enjoy today." Now I'm going to replace the word here, and I'm going to say my motto this holiday season is I go for the joy. And life is here for me to enjoy today, this instant, and every single instant of the holiday season. And it says, this year I do the mental work for positive change. And what does that tell us? That means it's a process, and we have to work at it. So let's get started, shall we? One thing that I want to make really clear is I chose to entitle this episode Uncover the Joy, as opposed to Finding the Joy. And I think that that's a really important distinction, because many of us feel that we're seeking something. It's an indication that we seem to be looking outside of ourselves for some kind of answer. So the word find to me makes it feel like we're looking elsewhere to find the answer, when in truth the answer is always beneath the surface, beneath whatever we have placed as a block in front of the joy. So what are some of those things that we place in front of the joy? The list is long, I can tell you, and from my end, particularly during the holiday season, the list is very long, because in truth, we have such incredibly busy lives, don't we? We have family, we have job responsibilities, and our lives are absolutely, totally full from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep. And our minds, if you're anything like me, our minds still keep going on and on and on throughout the night, right? So we're really never stopped. And because of that, the holiday season, it's like this, it's an interesting dynamic that happens. We actually believe that we can take our already completely saturated lives, moment to moment, no space to breathe, and we can pile into it a Thanksgiving, if you're in the U.S., and we pile into it Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever holiday that you cherish, we pile all this other extra effort. And if you're like me, where you have been the one for the family at times who does the cooking, you try to come up with the meal plan, you have to do the coordinating of the event, you get whatever planning, whatever decorating, you've got to, there's normally some kind of presents involved, you've got to do the shopping, the wrapping. It's just a lot going on. And so we pile on top of ourselves this huge to-do list. And I think that this is really the primary source of these barriers that we start to build up between us and the joy that exists just for us always to choose it. And so we pile up this to-do list. So these are preconceived notions that we have about what we should be doing each and every day in order to accomplish the goals that we set out for ourselves to accomplish over the holiday season. So there's a stark contrast between that and the idea that we wake up and we welcome the inner wisdom, that part of us that is always connected to our source, our loving source, that part of us, that inner wisdom, that part of us that has direct access into the all-knowing of exactly how our presence in each instant as we go through this holiday season could be put to use for the most benefit of everybody involved. And so we've got this aspect of ourselves, this inner wisdom, that actually can guide us comfortably and easily right through the holiday season. So step one is we have to make a choice. We have to choose between fear, anxiety, stress, any number of negative emotions, or love and joy. And to make that choice, we have to choose, are we going to hold on like bulldogs to that to-do list? And are we going to just drive ourselves crazy if we cannot finish everything that we thought we needed to do today? Or are we going to be able to take a deep breath and let's ask our inner wisdom, what would you have us do right now? And in doing so, we open ourselves up to the possibilities that the loving universe has for us. Now, here's the important part. The choice that we make, whether we're choosing fear or love, that is the gift that we're giving to our loved ones this holiday season. That is the gift that we're giving our neighbors. That is our gift to the world. So, in step one, when you need to make your choice, ask yourself, what would I gift to the world right now? What do I want to show up with? Love or fear? As you catch yourself choosing fearful thoughts, and how do you know you've chosen a fearful thought? You're getting really anxious, you're upset, you're angry, all these things start to bubble up. So when you catch yourself that oops, I did it, I'm going down that wrong path, that's not where I want to go, I am putting blocks between me and the joy that lives inside of me, I'm building up some kind of massive to-do list on my plate here, so I want to make a different choice. Let this be the very first item you return this holiday season. That choice of fear and that stress that you're carrying. So just return it. And that leads us to step two. Step one is we make our choice from fear to love. Now, step two, we need to surrender our days into the hands of our loving inner wisdom, our higher self, that divine inner wisdom. Now, I'm not suggesting that you just say, inner wisdom, I don't want to do my to-do list. I'm going to do whatever comes to me and I'm just going to go sit on the beach all day. I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that you leave your to-do list the way that it is, but you surrender it into the hands of your inner wisdom. You suggest and open yourself up that you would prefer to go through your day. Yes, you'd like to get as many of these things accomplished as possible, but you'd also like to make sure that as you go through each moment of your day, that you're being the absolute best that you can be in that moment, that you are listening to your inner wisdom to find that hidden important part that you're supposed to be bringing to that moment, whether you're in the grocery store, whether you're noticing somebody who looks like they're asking for donations for a food bank this holiday season, whether you're in an important meeting. You're asking yourself at all times in a surrendered moment that you prefer, if you have a choice to get your to-do list done, you prefer to do that which the universe would have you do in that moment. And you allow yourself to understand that, I hate to say this, I don't mean to be rude, but our to-do list that we wrote down, that is nothing in comparison to what the universe really requests of us. It isn't. And what's important is that we show up, and we be the best that we can possibly be in any given moment. And the funny thing is that as you allow yourself to surrender your to-do list into the hands of the Holy Spirit, higher self, inner wisdom, I'm wanting to be the best that I can be in these moments. I'm wanting to ask you to guide me through my day as I step through my to-do list. And if there's something on this to-do list that is not mine to do today, guess what? I guess it's not going to get done. Guess not. And I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to know that as I step through my day, I'm going to give it my absolute best. I'm going to be as gentle and loving. I'm going to bring as much joy as I can possibly bring. The gift that I'm going to bring to the world today is I'm going to choose in each instant joy and love, regardless of what's on my to-do list. And the interesting thing is, I'm going to give you a real life example. I had a client, it was a very stressful situation, and I had to drive an hour and a half to get to the work site. I had meetings scheduled all day long. I had a deliverable that I was supposed to have had done by 5 o'clock. I thought I was going to get it done that day, had it timed out, whatever, but got crazy, meetings cropped up that I didn't intend 2 days before. So here I am, the last day. I have a report I'm supposed to get done, but I'm looking at my calendar and I already have the entire day booked. I don't even have 10 minutes free at lunchtime to get food. I'm starved. It's an hour and a half drive. I didn't bring a lunch. It's the holiday season. So I'm a little bit beside myself. So I practiced this. And I just simply surrendered it over. And I just found a peaceful place inside. And I went to my inner wisdom. And I invited love in. And thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to just go through my day and do the best that I can possibly do. That's all I can do. I'm going to add love, I'm going to add joy, and I'm going to be the best I can be. And if I can squeeze in some food, great. If I can't, I'm going to have to figure that out. And I'm just going to make it through the day. And I got to work, and I had gone through this, and my first meeting started on the drive-in. So, I was already boom, 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 going. I got to work at 10 a.m., sure enough, a 2-hour meeting got canceled. There was my 2 hours. I was able to get lunch and my report done. And I think that is really spectacular. That is an example. And why does it happen? Because when you surrender into the arms of your inner wisdom is that part of you that's connected to your loving source. It's love that you're letting in. It's loving. And so miracles happen in your day. Little tiny things. Meetings get canceled. Or somebody shows up and says, I had an extra sandwich. Did you want it? When you have meetings all day. The most amazing things happen when you bring yourself to the point of being able to surrender it into the arms of your loving source. And so step 1 is you make a choice. You make a choice between fear and love. And step 2 is you surrender your to-do list into the hands of the loving inner wisdom that divine wisdom, that part of you that's connected to your loving source. And step 3 is a great catch-all process. It's a great step. Even if all you have time to do is this one step, it's a great holiday season pick-me-up step, and that is to invite love in. And this reminds me, you know how everybody's really into the vampire shows that are going on, and you know everybody knows that the vampire cannot come into your house unless they get an invitation. And it's a little ironic. Love is the same way. You have to invite it in. And you invite it in by opening up to it. You invite it in through making a choice to love, through surrendering that which you think your limited self thinks should be done, needs to be done, and you surrender that into the broader perspective you, that part of you, that divine wisdom, that part of you that's connected to your loving source. And then you invite the love in. Just let it come in. You allow it to happen. Recognize in gratitude all of the little tiny miracles that happen. Trust me, on that example that I gave you when I needed to have that time so I could finish that report, I was so grateful. And that moment when that meeting was canceled, I literally could have had tears come to my eyes. I was so grateful. The meeting being canceled was just a symbol of love from the universe, and a symbol that I was on the right track. And you know what? In the end of the day, that's all that really matters to me, that I'm on the right track and that I'm efforting and I'm getting better every moment. I want to end this episode by reading this lovely card from Louise Hay's 64 card wisdom card deck. And because they're beautiful affirmations, and if you don't have it, I highly recommend them. They're quite beautiful. And so I'm going to go ahead and read this. It says, my motto this year is, I go for the joy. Life is here for me to enjoy today. This year, I do the mental work for positive change. And that's really what this entire episode is about. Those 3 steps. That is the mental work. We are re-educating ourselves. That is our journey home. We're home the instant that we recognize that we are one with our loving source, that we are love, we are joy. That is our true nature. I hope that you found this episode helpful, and I'm imagining that future episodes over the next couple of weeks are probably going to have other holiday themes. I don't know what those episodes are yet, because I really do ask inner wisdom to guide me as to what the episodes are. And I do look forward to hearing from you with any ideas and requests of any real life circumstances that you might be facing that you would like me to do a deep dive in, and to help uncover the miracle that exists. So feel free to email me at Michelle, Michelle, at revrado.com. Also, once again, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click this button to subscribe, or if you want to visit my website, click this button to visit my website. And I hope that you will join me again in another episode of Breadcrumbs from the Soul next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as we take a deep dive into a real life circumstance and find the hidden miracle that lies below. I hope that you have a blessed week.